To add our enemy, we're going to import its art assets into the sprites folder of our project. For the meantime, we're only going to need 2 animations for the enemy character. Now, select both of them and modify their properties similar to what we did on our player character. Hit apply to save the changes. Go to the sprite editor and slice both of the assets. Take note of the pixel size to avoid any errors or issues in the animations. Let us now drag our idle sprite sheet into the scene. Name the animation clip as Enemy Idle and save it inside the Animations folder of the project. In the Animation tab, let's create a new animation clip for the enemy sneer animation. Make sure you save it in the Animations folder. Then, drag and drop the necessary sprites for the animation. Before we continue, let's first rename our enemy game object, scale, and reposition it in the scene. Now adjust its sample size or the frames per second until you're satisfied with the animation speed. We should uncheck the loop time property of the sneer animation clip of the enemy because we don't want to keep on repeating the same animation. Now, go under the Animator tab and let's modify the transition between the enemy's animations. Let's start by creating a trigger parameter named taunt. We will trigger this parameter using a coroutine via scripting. Create a transition from idle to sneer, uncheck has exit time, and set the transition duration to 0.01 seconds. Add a condition which transitions to the sneer animation when the taunt parameter is triggered. Let us now move on to scripting. Inside the scripts folder, create a new C# script, name it something distinct from the player script, and open it up in Visual Studio. First off, we need to create a variable of type animator, and reference it in the start method using getComponent. Then, we're going to create a coroutine that is responsible for transitioning between animations. Inside the method, we'll access the animator component to trigger the taunt parameter we created. Then, using the required yield return statement, we'll wait between 3 to 6 seconds before calling the coroutine again. Lastly, we also need to call the coroutine function in the start method. Now, save the script and attach it to our enemy game object. If you hit play, you will notice that between 3 to 6 seconds, the enemy will transition to the sneer animation. Now let's add some sounds in our game. To achieve this, we'll first create an audio folder to store all our imported sound files. Then, import the necessary audio files inside that folder. Right now, we can just keep the import settings as it is. Let's first add the background music in our game. This can be done by simply adding an audio source component in our background game object, then dragging and dropping our background music in the audio clip property of the component. Make sure to check play on awake and loop so that the background music will keep on playing as soon as we hit play. Now let's add a sound effect whenever the player jumps. To do this, let's add another audio source component in our player game object, then drag and drop the jump sound effect into the audio clip slot. Afterwards, go to the scripts folder and open up the script that handles the character's movement. Inside the script, we'll create an audio source variable and reference it inside the start method. Again, we'll utilize the getComponent method to achieve this. Then, inside our jump if statement, we'll call the play function of the component. If you hit play, the sounds of your game should work correctly.